You ever have a song hit you so hard that you can see the year again? Like, suddenly you're back in a neon-lit living room, MTV humming in the background, your finger hovering over the record button on a cassette deck, praying the DJ doesn't talk over the intro. That's 1984. Because we all remember the biggest stars, the stadium names, the headlines, the legends. But what about the pop bands who had the sound of the year and then vanished like they were never here? Today I'm taking you back to 1984, the peak early MTV moment when synth-pop, new wave, and dance pop were basically running the world. And we're counting down 15 forgotten pop bands of 1984 who deserved more. Bands with hooks so strong they still live in your muscles, even if their names don't pop up first in your brain. And listen, 3 things are coming, so don't dip early. In 1984, pop wasn't living on your phone. So today, we're doing justice. 15 bands, 1 year. A whole lot of wait, I know this moments. Quick early question. What year had pop music in a chokehold for you? Drop it in the comments, because I already know some of you are about to start time traveling. All right, deep breath. Let's count it down. If you forgot this one, the title alone is going to unlock the memory, The Politics of Dancing. It sounds like a serious essay, but the record is pure movement, like a fluorescent dance floor under a mirror ball you're not supposed to be at because it's a school night. The vibe is slick, urgent, and a little futuristic. New wave with that confident, we're stepping into the modern world energy. It's the kind of track that makes you walk faster without realizing it, like your life suddenly has opening credits. Here's the wild part. It came out earlier, but it hit hard across charts in that 1983-1984 window, and it became their signature. Written by Paul Fishman and produced by John Punter, it made noise internationally and cracked the US Hot 100, while also becoming a dance chart favorite. Fun fact. The song started as ideas captured on a pocket tape recorder, literal walking around inspiration that got turned into this clean, mechanical groove. So why did they vanish from the bigger pop conversation? Simple. They had the defining song, and pop history can be cruel like that. When the timeline gets simplified, you become a footnote, unless a new generation drags you back into the light.
Hey, Pop Lore family! Did you know only 1% of viewers are subscribed? If you love deep dives into pop legends, forgotten gems, and the stories behind the songs that shaped generations, hit that subscribe button right now. And don't forget to turn on LL notifications so you'll be the first to know when we premiere our next video. It's free, it helps Pop Lore grow, and it makes sure you never miss a single countdown or music story. Let's build this community together.
Okay, picture this. You're flipping channels late at night, and suddenly this warm, dreamy slow jam comes on. Like somebody dimmed the lights on the entire decade for 3 minutes. Fronted by Robert Plant, yes, that Robert Plant, leaning into old school soul and R&B energy. Their cover of Sea of Love sounded like nostalgia even in the moment. Like it belonged to every slow dance you never worked up the courage to ask for. Sea of Love. Chart-wise, it wasn't small. Their version hit number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and went number 1 on Adult Contemporary. And the project's success was real enough that people expected a bigger follow-up. That never fully arrived. Fun fact, the original song goes way back to 1959, and the Honeydrippers version basically proved a timeless truth. Great melodies don't age, they just change clothes. Why did it fade? Because it was almost designed to be a moment, a flash, a perfect little what if in the timeline. And still, if you hear it today, it lands like a memory you didn't know you had. If you grew up on music, TV, and radio, this list is about to unlock memories you didn't know you still had. Because Tenderness is one of those songs that feels like it's always been playing somewhere. The memory trigger for me? That bright, bouncy groove that sounds like a sunny day with your windows down, like you're riding to the mall with friends, laughing too loud, not worrying about anything except what's on the radio next. Tenderness is pop with a pulse, warm, rhythmic, and a little bit bittersweet underneath the shine. It's the kind of song that makes you feel like life is a montage. And the context is great. General Public came from the post-band breakup universe. What happens when talented people keep going after the previous chapter ends? Their album All the Rage did well in the US, and Tenderness became their calling card, helped by being featured in films like 16 Candles, 1984, and later showing up again in pop culture. Fun fact, sometimes a movie placement is more powerful than a label plan. The screen can keep a song alive when radio moves on. Why did they vanish? Because the public memory tends to keep the song and forget the band name. Tenderness survived. General Public got filed under, oh yeah, them. Alright, micro recap. So far we've had the dance floor intellect of Reflex, the slow dance warmth of the Honeydrippers, and the movie soundtrack glow of General Public. And we still haven't hit the controversy. This one feels like walking past a record store and hearing something classy spill onto the street, like Pop putting on a blazer. Memory trigger, that smooth, moody groove that sits right between cool and hurting. You didn't have to understand the lyrics fully. You just knew it sounded grown. The vibe is sophistication with a heartbeat. Not bubblegum, not glitter. More like coffee, rain, and feelings you're trying to act like you don't have. It was written by Paul Weller and released in 1984, and it's one of those records that proves pop can be stylish without losing its hook. Fun fact, this is the kind of track that helps shape that whole sophisticated pop lane. Music that sounds expensive without being cold. Why did it fade in the mainstream? Because pop history often rewards the loudest moments. Subtle classic records sometimes get pushed to the side until you hear them again and realize they were never small. We were just distracted. Hold that thought, because number 11 is a song you've heard 1,000 times in different places, and you might not even realize it started here. If you forgot this one, the chorus is about to jump scare your memory, not because it's cheesy, but because it's everywhere in the DNA of pop. Memory trigger, that steady, driving pulse, music that sounds like you're making a decision, like you're walking out of somewhere and you're not looking back. The feeling is confident, a little cool, a little lonely. It's pop that doesn't beg you to like it. It just stands there like, this is who we are. Facts-wise, It's My Life was released in January 1984, written by Mark Hollis and Tim Fries-Green, and produced by Tim Fries-Green. It didn't explode in the UK right away, but it traveled, doing better in other countries and even hitting number 1 on a US dance chart at the time. Fun fact, Talk Talk Story is one of the best You Thought You Knew Them arcs in pop, because they didn't stay in one lane. They evolved in ways that made them legends to musicians, even if the average radio listener only remembers the hits. Why did they vanish from casual memory? Because their later journey got deeper and less pop single friendly. The culture remembers the chorus, the culture forgets the full artist. Stay with me, because number 10 has a producer credit that should have guaranteed them a permanent seat at the pop table. This one is like stepping into a glossy magazine ad that somehow has a soul. The beat is clean, the bass is smooth, and the whole thing feels like it's smiling at you. Memory Trigger. That sweet, bright groove that sounds like summer. Like you're getting ready to go out, checking your hair one more time, and the radio is making you feel like the main character. The vibe is funky pop with polish, post-disco energy moving into synth pop, but keeping the warmth. And the context is huge. It was produced by Arif Mardin, a legendary name, and it became a real breakthrough moment for the band, peaking in the UK top 10. Fun fact, the subtitle is a nod toward Aretha Franklin's World, so even in the title, the band is telling you what they're chasing, that kind of greatness. Why did they fade? Because sometimes being ahead of your time looks like being hard to categorize. They weren't just one thing, and pop marketing loves one thing at a time. And now, don't forget, I promised you a scandal. We're getting closer. Yes, this is the controversy entry. Okay, this is the moment I teased at the top. Memory Trigger. The instant you hear that command, those few words, and you're like, oh, this one. It's the kind of record that didn't just get played, it got talked about, whispered about, debated about. The vibe is bold, seductive, and kind of dangerous for its time. Like it knows it's pushing buttons and it's doing it on purpose. It wasn't just a song, it was a pop event. Now the controversy, carefully and fairly. Relax was famously banned by the BBC. And according to band and industry recollections, that censorship only fed the fire. There are different versions of how strict the ban was and how it played out across radio and TV. But the big picture is consistent. It became a headline moment, and the attention helped push the record into the cultural center of 1984. What did it change? It changed how people saw the band. Some saw fearless art, some saw provocation, and the media climate turned it into a symbol as much as a single. It also shows a pop truth. Sometimes the gatekeepers accidentally create the legend by trying to shut the door. Fun fact, the band's rise is tied to that high drama, high concept label world. Big production, big imagery, big statements, and producer power mattered a lot in making that sound feel massive. Why did they vanish in the simplified story? Because history compresses artists into headlines. The band song band, the shock moment, the scandal. But the reality is more musical and more human than the shorthand. If you ever lived through the era where MTV could turn a song into a lifestyle, Obsession is that. Memory Trigger, that robotic, catchy hook that feels like neon letters flashing in your brain. Even if you can't name the band off the top of your head, you know the feeling. This song made your room feel like a club. The vibe is sleek synth pop with a little bite. Danceable, dramatic, and kind of hypnotic. It's the sound of confidence with a shadow behind it. Facts. Animotion released their version in October 1984, produced by John Ryan, and it became a major hit, reaching number 6 in the US and getting a huge boost from MTV airplay. Fun fact, it was originally written by Holly Knight and Michael DeBar, meaning the song had that professional, this hook is built to last DNA before Animotion even touched it.
Have you? Yes, I will have you. I will find a way.
Why did the band fade from the mainstream? Same story again. The song becomes bigger than the name. Obsession got remembered as a vibe. Animotion got remembered by the people who truly know. Stay with me, because number 7 is proof that pop isn't always about what the lyric says, it's about what the lyric hides. This one is pure 1984. Shimmering synths, icy cool vocals, and a chorus that feels like it was carved out of glass. Memory Trigger. That title line that makes you feel like you're staring out a rainy window in a city you've never been to. It's dreamy, but it's not empty. The vibe is cinematic and a little haunted, like success and loneliness sitting at the same table. Facts. Big in Japan was released in January 1984, written by the band's core members and produced by Orlando, Wolfgang Loose. It became a big international success and even hit #1 on a US dance chart in late 1984. Fun fact, the song's meaning is darker than people assume. In interviews and band history, it's often connected to the idea of escape, fantasy success as a way to cope with real-life chaos, tied to scenes and stories from that era. Why did they fade in some countries? Geography and pop memory. Some bands become global legends, others become regional immortals. Either way, this song deserved to sit permanently in the best of the decade conversation. This is one of those records where you can practically smell the hairspray and stage fog. Memory Trigger, the way the chorus hits like a movie trailer. Big emotion, big drama, big hands in the air energy. It's the kind of song 1,000 people could sing at once without even thinking. The vibe is pop rock with a new wave edge. Tough on the outside, but secretly pure romance and panic on the inside. Facts. The Warrior was released in 1984, written by Holly Knight and Nick Gilder, produced by Mike Chapman, and it reached #7 in the US. Fun fact, when a song has Holly Knight in the credits, you should pay attention, because she helped shape a whole era of hook writing.
Talk to me. Your eyes touch me physically.
Why did Scandal fade from the pop front line? Lineup shifts, momentum, label realities, classic band stuff. And in pop, if you don't follow a big hit with another big hit fast enough, the machine rolls on without you.
Talk to me.
Pattern interrupt. Where were you, memory? This is the kind of song you heard blasting from a car with the windows down at a red light, and you didn't even mind. You just nodded like, yeah, this is the one. Some songs don't age because they were never just trends. They were truth. Memory Trigger. That opening, those synths, then that voice. You hear it and your chest tightens a little, even if you're not sure why at first. The vibe is heartbreaking and unstoppable at the same time. Dance music that doesn't hide the pain. It's the sound of running toward freedom. Facts. Released in May 1984, produced by Mike Thorne, Small Town Boy, became a major hit, reaching #3 in the UK and becoming a defining anthem with a storyline that hit hard for a lot of people. Fun fact, the video is basically a short film, showing a young man leaving home after violence and rejection. That visual storytelling helped make the song feel like more than a single. Why did the band fade from mainstream pop chatter? Because being bold comes with a cost, and pop history sometimes takes time to properly honor what was brave in the moment. But the legacy stayed alive, on dance floors, in culture, and in the way later artists learned they could tell the truth in pop music.
You and everyone we knew could believe, do.
This is the sound of 1984 outside your window. Memory Trigger. That playful, bouncy groove that feels like bright colors moving fast. Like roller skates on a polished floor and somebody laughing in the background.
And everyone we knew could believe, do.
The vibe is joyful new wave pop, light on its feet, but tight like a real band playing with machines. Facts. Dancehall Days had an earlier life, but the version people remember became the band's signature and peaked number 16 on the US Hot 100, even hitting number 1 on a US dance chart. Fun fact, Wang Chung's story is a reminder that sometimes the hit version is the revised version, the one that finally captures what the song was trying to be. Why did they fade in the 1984 only conversation? Because later people tend to file them under a general 80s fun folder and forget how sharp and musical the band actually was. Stay with me, because number 3 is a group that basically predicted modern pop production before modern pop production knew it was coming. If you've ever loved a pop record because it sounded like the future, this is that. Memory Trigger. Those chopped sounds, that punchy hit feeling, the way it plays like a collage. Even if you didn't know their name in 1984, you felt the impact later, because pop kept borrowing from this blueprint. The vibe is experimental but still fun, like a dance record built from machines and imagination instead of guitars and a front person. Facts, released in October 1984, Close to the Edit, was written and produced by the group's core members, and it later reached number 8 in the UK. Its video even won awards at the 1985 MTV Video Music Awards. Fun fact, Art of Noise proved you could be a band without a traditional singer and still be pop, because the hook was the sound itself. Why did they fade from mainstream memory? Because pop history loves faces. Art of Noise was about audio identity. But the influence? Massive. You hear it every time a modern track uses sound like building blocks. Hold that thought, because number 2 connects directly to our almost didn't get its moment loop. If you grew up in a place where Europop ruled the speakers at the shop, the bus, the party, the street, this song is a time machine. Memory Trigger. That sweet, dramatic chorus that feels like it was built to be sung by everybody at once, no matter what language you speak. The vibe is romantic, shiny, and unapologetically melodic. Dance pop that doesn't pretend it's cool. It just goes for your heart. Facts. Released in September 1984, it climbed and eventually spent weeks at number 1 in Germany and stayed on the chart for a long time, becoming the duo's signature and biggest selling calling card. Fun fact, this is one of those records where the production style became a whole brand. Once you hear it, you can recognize the factory of that sound across other songs. Why did they fade in some global pop histories? Because English-speaking pop storytelling sometimes centers its own radio timeline. But in huge parts of the world, this wasn't a side note. This was the soundtrack. And now, we've arrived at number 1. The one I said we've all been singing like it was our job.
Hey, Pop Lore family! Did you know only 1% of viewers are subscribed? If you love deep dives into pop legends, forgotten gems, and the stories behind the songs that shaped generations, hit that subscribe button right now. And don't forget to turn on LL notifications so you'll be the first to know when we premiere our next video. It's free, it helps Pop Lore grow, and it makes sure you never miss a single countdown or music story. Let's build this community together.
The second that beat kicks in, it's over. You're not remembering this song, you're back inside it. Memory Trigger. You don't even need the title. You just need that spin, that lift, that moment where the hook grabs you by the collar and drags you onto the dance floor. This is the kind of song that made bedrooms feel like clubs, and clubs feel like stadiums. The vibe is glittery, dramatic, unstoppable, dance pop with urgency. Like the night is short and you're trying to live all of it before the lights come on. Now let's pay off that almost didn't get its moment loop. Dead or Alive released You Spin Me Round in November 1984. And here's what people forget. It didn't instantly hit the top. It climbed, slowly, taking 17 weeks to reach #1 in the UK in 1985. And it was produced by Stock Aitken Waterman, a team that was still becoming the hit-making powerhouse we now associate with the decade. Even the band's own story shows how intentional it was. Pete Burns wanted that specific kind of high-energy production, pushing toward a sound that would dominate pop's next wave.
Be your friend now, baby.
Fun fact, it became a global smash, charting high in multiple countries and turning Dead or Alive into an eternal dance pop reference point. So why did the band still end up forgotten in the broader pop band conversation? Because history can be unfair. It crowns the song and leaves the rest in the shadows. Dead or Alive became the record in a lot of people's minds, one immortal single, when the reality is they were part of a whole scene that was shaping what pop could become.
Run, baby, rise round like a record, baby, rise round, round, round.
And that's why this is my #1. Not just because it's catchy, because it proves the whole point of this video. Pop doesn't always remember fairly, but we can. So what does this list prove? That pop moves so fast it can erase its own footprints. That dozens of bands helped build the sound we still chase, then got pushed off the main stage when the next wave hit.
All I know is that's me. You look like you're lots of fun. Open up your mouth.
And that the forgotten bands often had the most alive records because they were hungry. Now I need you to tell me, which of these are you adding to your throwback playlist tonight? And which band did I miss that deserves a spot? If you want more pop nostalgia countdowns and deep dives, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.